Greetings! Please don't adjust your network connection, I'm Ginger. Sorry for interrupting your enjoyment of the Mayhem Underground, but I thought I'd maybe take this chance to share with you a few things you might not be aware of. I don't want to insult your intelligence by telling you things you probably already know, like the Westminster government is lying to you. Of course they are. Don't have to be Jonathan fucking Creek to work out that politicians lie. But did you know they are using the BBC to do it? Now, see, ever since 2003, when the BBC called the claim by Blair that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction that could hit us in 45 minutes as being a load of pish, Westminster's been keeping the BBC on a tight leash. But in 2010, the Tory-led coalition yanked that leash hard. This man, Mark Thompson, former Director General of the BBC, was ordered to Downing Street to discuss how the BBC were going to report the forthcoming cuts. The paperwork he was carrying could be clearly read and showed the BBC were preparing a series of TV programmes which would back up the government's cuts, making them look good to the public. Then in 2011 it was discovered that BBC journalists were told to change the word cuts to savings, making the closure of libraries, hospitals, shelters for battered women, daycare centres and all the cuts to poor and disabled people sound like a good thing to the rest of us. Shortly afterwards, this dude, Lord Patten, was made head of the BBC Trust. He is of course a Tory and has his fingers in a few pies, which I hope to make you aware of in the future. And he then appointed this guy, Tony Hall, also an unelected Westminster Lord, to be the new Director General, guaranteeing the government's stranglehold on the BBC. Since then, they've carefully edited reports to misrepresent the statements made by EU ministers of other nations, doctored footage of a humanitarian crisis in Syria to look like chemical attacks, fiddled with the video and audio of our own Parliament in Scotland to make it look like our government was infighting, as well as a catalogue of other half-truths and omitted facts to fuck with your brain until you find yourself saying, you know, that Davy Cameron talks sense, Ken. Now, I don't know about you, but I refuse to pay for a state-controlled media to tell me a load of shite 24 hours a day. So I don't. Now, you might have been sat there thinking you've had your internet connection hacked by one of those anonymous types. Some Marcel Marceau looking motherfucker in a tartan tammy. But I am not an anonymous. I have a name. And that name is McV.